Who else see the leprechaun say, yeah. Welcome aboard the 4 to 7 pod. I'm so glad you got that.
To me, it looked like a leprechaun to me.
one of my favorite old like hardcore bands samples that in one of their songs.
Oh, that's great.
That was the first time I ever heard it. But welcome aboard and then I saw the video and it was like even better. But welcome aboard the 4 to 7 pod on the Ascension Podcast Network. Chris and Jerry, I am wearing the posterized T-shirt made by Curtis, who is the same person who also designed all of our logos and artwork and stuff. He came up with this wonderful design. You can get the shirt on TeePublic. But yeah, we are back. We're doing an orange background, orange banners for the Knicks. We got Johan Santana.
Yeah, the anniversary was on Monday, 14 years.
That's right. Yeah, June 1st. June 1st, Johan Santana with the first and still only no-hitter in Mets history, right?
Solo no-hitter.
Yeah, that's right. They had a combined one kind of recently.
22.
Right? That's right. Yeah, I thought it was like 22 or 23. So yeah, shout outs to Johan Santana for delivering that moment. Johnny Pareda may or may not have just gotten hit in the dick with a foul ball. We don't know.
Rough.
We kind of determined. We're both watching the Mets. We're both like streaming the Mets game right now, and we kind of determined it probably didn't hit him in the sack, but because he did stay in the game. But it's more fun to say he did. So yeah, best wishes to him. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. Why couldn't it have been Cal Raleigh? Although he's doing bad enough without that.
Wait a minute, I didn't know you had beef with Johnny Pareda like that.
Oh no, I don't have any beef with Johnny Pareda, but I kind of have beef. I kind of have beef with Cal Raleigh.
Well, I knew that.
That's what I'm saying. Why couldn't it
have
have been Cal Raleigh instead? But I mean, yeah. If there's the one thing you never wish on another man, it's that, unless they did something like unspeakably awful. So, I wouldn't.
Even then, Adrian Beltre will speak up for you. Anyway,
yeah, Adrian Beltre with the PR lesson of the week, where you don't have to talk. No one's making you say anything. The Fifth Amendment exists.
As a wise man once said, shutting the fuck up is free.
Yeah, shutting the fuck up is free. There's many ways to articulate this, but perhaps but if you are going to talk, because obviously this is a podcast, and the whole point of this is for us to yap. But if you are going to yap, if you're going to open the old yapper, perhaps you should not tell people unprompted that a former player that was convicted of molesting a child deserves another chance. Just probably not where you wanted to go. I didn't even actually see the interview, so I don't know if they baited him into that, which even that is bad if they asked him about Wander Franco, or if he just brought up Wander Franco unprovoked.
It's so insane to me that and of course, because this is where we are in 2026, there's people that agree with him, and it's like, no, you don't get it. They didn't acquit him. He didn't get prison time because they considered what the mother did to be worse.
Yeah, because she was wasn't she basically pimping her out?
Yeah,
more or less.
They basically said well, yeah, you did that shit, but you got extorted, so we're putting the extortioner in prison.
Yeah,
you both bad, you realize.
Yeah, this was in this all happened in was it Cuba?
Dominican.
The DR, yeah. He should probably. I mean, he should be under the jail, but yeah, he should probably just stay there. Between him and the starting pitcher for the Long Island Ducks. I mean, actually, I think what Wander did was actually worse. But yeah, between the two of them, I don't want to hear it anymore.
It's weird. It's crazy to me that there are more people that stick up for starting pitcher number 47 than Wander Franco. I haven't before Adrian Beltre. I didn't really heard a lot of people like going up for him like that. So
yeah,
I think that kind of tells you the general consensus on that.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of like, I feel like with the pitcher of the Long Island Ducks who probably lives at the Comac Motor Inn. I think that it seems like there's a lot of political and like racially motivated undertones with that whole thing. Like,
part of it was he did have a fan base of edgelords before that.
Yeah.
Like he was the online dickhead. And believe me,
Exactly.
That's a way to be popular now, is to be a dickhead online. And he had those people.
Yeah, it just always seems like anytime I open like Twitter or Instagram and whatever baseball account is posting about what he's doing with the Long Island Ducks, it's always like the same people or demographic of people that are like, yeah, what MLB did to him is a shame. Like, Yankees get him or Mets call him up. Whoever, it's just it's just like, I don't know, he got shelled in like the Mexican League. He bragged about striking out Luke Voigt because he led the league in home runs the same year he won the fake Cy Young.
Yeah, that one will, I think I've mentioned on this show, but that will piss me off forever because that should have been DeGrom's third in a row. And if he gets that, he is absolutely in. Like, would not matter how many games he won. Like, if you win 3 Cy Youngs in a row, you're in. Like that.
Yeah. And Jacob DeGrom just got his 100th win yesterday.
Exactly why I bring that up.
And like I said, even if he had 40 wins, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he would have 3 Cy Youngs in a row. Like nothing else would have mattered. It's like there's like 2 or 3 other people that have done that, and they're in.
Yeah,
and
that's one of those.
Bauer got to feast on the Central that year, so miss me with that.
I forget how they even I forget how they even structured the schedule that year, but I'm sure it was a 60-game season, so I'm sure like
it was
the division games probably made up for like a third of your games.
Well, it's like so because I know the Yankees and Mets played each other like more than their usual amount because it was just. Like if you were in the East, you just played the NL and AL East. So he got to face the 2 worst divisions in baseball.
Oh yeah, that's right. They didn't leave their regions of the country
right
until like playoffs. Yeah, so he was basically feasting on the Centrals, which I mean the NL Central has had quite the come up since then.
Yeah.
But the AL Central still in the trenches, although we're off to a great start in June with the Guardians.
I'm picturing Paul Skeens doing the Drewski meme with Sal Frelick saying, "We changed this broke fella's life."
That's pretty good. But yeah, June off to a June start for the Yankees.
If Sal Frelick somehow watches this show, he's gonna have my ass. He's like, what's it fuck me for?
What are you saying fuck me for?
It's like, Matt McClain exists. Pick on him.
Yeah.
You watch, like, when the Mets play the Brewers, like, Sal Frelick he's just going to have the Reggie Jackson series twice.
Right. Plenty of Matt McClain slander to go around. Johnny Paredes batting now. Let's see how
Marvin Mlodzinski's like, good. No one's talking about me. Great.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. And honestly,
insane.
this wasn't even on the schedule, but maybe we should touch on that real quick.
Yeah, this is wild.
This whole Carmen, Mlodzinski, my fellow Polish brother in Christ. But basically, so the Pirates rotation up until this point, it had been Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, Carmen, and then Bubba Chandler and Braxton Ashcraft. So obviously Paul Skeens, reigning Cy Young winner, still one of the best pitchers in the game. I don't know if he's going to repeat because Christopher Sanchez and Jacob Mizorowski are both having like phenomenal seasons. Yeah. So, it might be, So, I mean, I expect Paul Skeens to remain in that, remain like in the top 3, but he might not get the repeat. But obviously, he's the ace. Keller definitely solidified himself as like the number 2, and then Ashcraft and Bubba Chandler are both young guys. Bubba Chandler probably better suited for the bullpen. So,
I didn't realize it had gotten that bad for him.
Yeah, he can't go past like the 4th or 5th inning, which is kind of the same thing with Carmen, but Chandler throws harder, so like he's probably better suited for the bullpen.
I just know that there was so much expectation for Chandler when he first came up. Like they thought like him and Skeens could be 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't quite lived up that way. But I guess the elephant in the room for the Pirates was that Jared Jones was always going to come back, and when he did come back, there was going to obviously have to be an odd man out. And I don't know what was said behind the scenes, or I guess Carmen must have been under the impression that that if he was like playing well enough and that his numbers were good enough that he would have a spot in the rotation. But Jared Jones came back last Friday, and they decided Carmen was the odd man out. So he gave like a really he gave like an interview where he was pretty visibly upset. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary though, but you could tell he was definitely upset about felt like he was snubbed or that he got demoted, so to speak. And then a couple of days later, he basically just went AWOL and got put on the restricted list. So he basically left the team, I guess, without telling them or without getting permission to leave. And I guess no one's really known. Yeah, no one's really known where he was. But I guess the Pirates are just like buying time now to try to.
I think they're trying to figure out what they can legally do here.
Yeah. So the whole thing a little bizarre. I definitely understand his frustration because I feel like he did deserve to. He probably deserved to keep a spot in the rotation over Bubba Chandler at this point. And although apparently, I guess they activated him off the restricted list, and I guess he is gonna go to the bullpen. But yeah, he did kind of disappear there for a minute.
It's not that his frustration's unfounded. I think most people get your chance to make real money as a pitcher is as a starter in this sport, and you never know how much time you have. Any one pitch and it could all go.
Yeah.
So he's not wrong for that.
He probably doesn't throw hard enough to become he probably doesn't throw hard enough to become an elite closer or setup man that's going to command that type of money. So it was definitely it was definitely a kick in the nuts to his career to get removed from the rotation.
But I do think he needed someone in his corner to tell him oh man, they're moving you for right now, but if you're the bulk guy, there's value in that. You can pitch your way back into the rotation from that. If you just keep showing up, and I mean, I know he hasn't been great every outing this year, but he's generally been all right. The Pirates are where they are because of their pitching. And like if you just show up in the bulk role and you're going out there and you give them 4 or 5 innings every time and you're just not letting anything through, like you're going to force their hand at some point. Like just keep going in there and doing your job. Like they'll find you, or somebody out there will look and go, hey, that team, hey, they're using him wrong. We could put that guy in our rotation. We'll make that work. Like, you never know who's watching.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe our boy Johnny Pareda just hit a home run.
Oh boy, did he! If you saw me make a face while you were talking, that's why. Because it was. I
did see you make a face, and I figured something was going on. And then I clicked over to the stream for a minute, and they said that it was his something like his 4th career multi RBI game or something. I don't know. I'm watching.
Fouled off like 7 pitches. It was. Yeah. It had to have been like a 10 or 11 pitch at bat because I kept looking. I'm like, man, Tom, like not putting this guy away. And then
yeah, I don't know. I got the Mariners broadcast up, but it said it was his it said something about him having another multi RBI game, and the bases were empty. So, and it's 7-2. So put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just a very bizarre situation with Carmen. I wish him the best, and I do hope that he can either find his way back into the Pirates rotation, or if he just if both sides decide it's for the best that he goes somewhere else, then I hope he lands on his feet somewhere else, because by all accounts he's a very solid starting pitcher when he's on.
Yeah, it's as they like to say, we don't want to have our worst moment held against us. And
for sure,
I'm sure even right now he's probably like, I probably could have handled that better. I'm sure he's probably thinking that even right now.
Yeah, and Bubba Chandler did get shelled pretty badly tonight. So yeah, he was probably sitting in the bullpen yeah, bitch. Although I guess he didn't get shelled that badly, because the Pirates did manage to win this game, actually. But
Carmen Wadzinski's he's in the Pirates bullpen doing the Shaq meme,
yeah. But he did give up 4 runs, 3 earned over 5. So not terrible. It ended up not being a terrible outing, but it the Astros kind of got to him. They kind of got to him early on in the game.
What do you mean they got him? I'm sorry. I don't get to use that one enough. What do you mean they got him? Oh, he actually got the win.
Yeah, no, he did get the win
against Mike Burrows, which, man, that was one of those. I think we've mentioned it in passing on this show, but when that trade happened, it was like, well, what do the Astros see in Mike Burrows? Because they've done this before. Well, they might have lost their touch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember that. It's oh yeah, they're gonna, the Garrett, the Garrett Cole trade all over again. They're gonna turn
Charlie
this
Morton
into a god. But yeah, no, it does seem more and more like the Astros might actually be dead. And
I'm not looking with fury at Gregory Soto having a 1.91 ERA and 8 saves already this year. No, I'm not.
Yeah, no,
2 homer game for Carson Bench. Just what I needed as I was talking about Gregory Soto. All right.
There you go.
It's a psycho summer, baby.
Yep.
We'll get to that, but
more on that later. But we'll get started with the Yankees. The swoon is back for the Yankees. Aaron Judge was scratched from the lineup today with a bone bruise. So we got that. We got that situation going on. They said it's Boone. I think Boone said that he's day to day, and that I guess it was something that he had been dealing with, and it apparently got worse in the A's series. And apparently it was like affecting his swing. It's June. This time of year is always it's always tough for us. So like I'm gonna just say, just put him on the IL and get it over with, because that's kind of what I'm expecting anyway. And I am now
that's
seeing.
how I feel about anybody on my team, where it's like if you're trying to play through something.
What's that?
Like, I was gonna say, like, I would feel this way about anybody on my team trying to play through something in June. Like, for what? Like, if you're not right, you're not going to play well. And then what? You're going to try to play through this for, like, we've seen Lindor do this multiple times, where very clearly played through an injury for like a month, and then he'll hit like 170, and it's like, all right, we're ILing you for 2 weeks. It's like, we could have just done that initially and not had the problem.
Yeah,
now we really need him.
Yeah, it's like now you're sending him to the IL with like a strained batting average instead of just doing it when he was actually hurt. And risking the further risk of injury. And I mean, yeah, as much as the Yankees do have some, they do have kind of a tough schedule right out the gate to start June with Cleveland at home, sandwiched with a series against the Red Sox, and then they play Cleveland on the road again next week. The Red Sox aren't particularly good, but obviously, that's always, I feel like when you're playing the Red Sox, you kind of just throw the records away, and you're kind of just expecting a bloodbath regardless. But yeah, and then they head over to Toronto after that. So yeah, as much as like, yeah, it's a tough it's a tough start, and you want to have your best guys for it, especially because like the Rays are finally losing some games. Like the Yankees are only a game back now, so they do actually like I got to the point now, like I'm at the point now where I don't think the Rays are like going away, but I do think like that the Yankees should be able to take a hold of the division and not look back.
It's basically, we don't think you're going to be able to keep up this first 2-month clip for 6 months. Now, we're not saying you're going to play 300 ball, but are you going to be able to stay at our level for the rest of the way? We don't think so.
Yeah, the analytics and some of the luck metrics did seem a little bit extreme for the Rays, and there were a lot of things where it's like there are a lot of things that it was like, kind of like you would expect this to regress to the mean, but then like it kind of kept going. So I was like, damn, maybe they're just a good team. And like I still do think they are a pretty good team. I would say I expect them to be like our main problem in the division, like for the rest of the season. But it does seem like finally the devil magic is wearing off a little bit, and that the Yankees finally had an opportunity to gain some ground and possibly retake control of the division and and maybe build up a lead of their own.
I just picture you waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat like Kevin Durant in the Gatorade commercial at the thought of Chandler Simpson. Like, God damn it, he got on base again.
Yeah.
We can't throw him out.
It's tough. It's tough business with Chandler Simpson, but yeah, June is back, and the Swoon seems to be back with it. We dropped our first game of June 9-4 to the Guardians. Cam Schlittler looked human really for the first time. This is really the first time all season where like this was probably like his first start where it was like, oh, you don't look like you're just like gonna run away with the Cy Young Award. I mean, I'd still say he's still probably the favorite to win it. But yeah, this was like the first and it wasn't even, I wouldn't even say this was a bad start. This was probably just like the first like underwhelming start of the season for him.
I mean, when you look at the ERA numbers across the American League, the next closest guy to him is Nick Martinez, who he's good, but like what I consider Nick Martinez to be a Cy Young winner, that don't sound right.
No.
Then it's Davis Martin of the White Sox, who credit to the White Sox, might be digging their way out of this. Maybe.
Yeah. We should have traded for Miguel Vargas when we had the chance to.
You never know.
Yeah,
I will say, Parker Messick, I'm willing to hear that. I still think it's Schlittler's to lose as we sit here on June 2nd. But
yeah,
after just looking at some of these ERA, because we still know the traditional stats do mean something. But Parker Messick, sure, I'll hear that case. Jose Soriano, somehow yes. That would he's come back to earth a little bit, but still really good. And then Emerson Hancock has turned into the ace this year for the Mariners somehow.
Yeah.
Those would probably round out my ballot.
Yeah, it would probably be those guys. Or if you're looking for a dark horse, not enough of a sample size to get him really in the conversation yet, but if you're looking for a dark horse, you don't have to look far. You don't even have to look off the Yankees roster, because Garrett Cole is very much back, and he has yet to give up a run in his two starts. His first start was against the Rays, and they lost that game because the Yankees couldn't score. But to no fault of his own, he threw 6 innings of two hit shutout ball, 3 walks, and then he did 6 2/3 in a shutout against the Royals, where he struck out 10 and walked 0. So yeah, his stuff, his stuff looks like it's definitely still there. I think his fastball's been, in like that 96, 97 range. So, the velocity is definitely still there. And, obviously he didn't walk anyone. So obviously he's doing something right with his command too. So I would say that, if there's if there was someone else that could challenge him, can't rule out Garrett Cole, but it's definitely, definitely good to have him back. I think that some people, I think some people forgot just how good he was because he didn't pitch last year, and it kind of didn't matter for the Yankees because they still won 94 games, and I mean his last start before before now was game 5 of the World Series, which unfortunately it really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't entirely his fault, but before things unraveled in that game, he was dealing.
Kind of was, but anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I think part of it was shiny new toys showed up because you signed Fried, and you had the great first 3 or 4 months to start the season last year, so that kind of eased the burden of Cole not being there. Where it's, but we've got this guy who's already proven himself elsewhere, who's won a World Series and led the rotation, and then towards the back end of last season, Schlittler emerges into this and then got even better this year. So,
and then Rodon, Rodon had his best year as a Yankee too.
When DeGrom would get hurt with the Mets, it's like you missed him because you're like, I have to watch Taijuan Walker and Trevor Williams again. Oh, great!
Yeah,
you guys, it's we'll just grow another ace. Sounds great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Yeah. By the way, without looking, speaking of blasts, names like that, like blasts from the past. Do you know who the winning pitcher was for the Guardians tonight?
I actually did pull the box up, so yes, I did see that.
Yep. the one and only Colin Holderman, who was part of the Danny Vogelback trade tree.
There are people still that are like, well, he sucked in Pittsburgh, so we won the trade. Not the point.
It's not the point at all. And there was actually like 5 minutes there where Colin Holderman was one of their better relievers in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
I remember there was a point like before the Pirates' 2024 season entirely fell apart, because they were kind of hovering around 500 in like July.
They were.
And then it all fell apart in August. But I remember like in July, I went to a lot of games that summer, and we all kind of shared the same sentiment that like out of all the relievers, like we probably felt the best about it when Colin Holderman was coming into the game.
He hadn't even been up that long with the Mets, but it was like, man, I don't feel like I need a drink when he's coming in the game. He might actually be all right. Jesus, Julio just hit a nuke.
Sheesh.
Almighty.
Okay,
keep running CNL Perez out there, Stearns. No, it's going great. Please keep scrounging for relievers. It's going so well. Guy had a 5 ERA with the Nationals. No. Got to bring him. Have to play him. Have to have him in there. It's going great, Chris. I'm having so much fun.
I can tell. It's the way, it's the way she goes. But yeah,
what happens when you care about winning and not being right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, no, but if Cole could keep this up, he's got his he'll have his third start of the season tomorrow, which is about to be today in about 17 minutes from right now, and it will actually be today by the time you, the listener, the viewer, are consuming this pod. But as far as other business and happenings in Yankee land, the probably the hottest rumor that I've been seeing with the Yankees lately is that they're going to be in the market for a right-handed platoon catcher, because Austin Wells just can't hit a beach ball. He can hit like the occasional monthly home run just to I guess get people to stop just get people to stop themselves from giving up on him entirely. But Austin Wells, I mean, a very good defensive catcher, which I'm actually very I kind of reached the point with Austin Wells where I'm like, if he's just a good defensive catcher who can't hit, kind of fine. That's kind of what most catchers are anyway.
Yeah.
All the rumors seem to be pointing, and all the reports seem to be pointing to that the Yankees are going to pursue a right-handed catcher at or before the trade deadline. The two biggest names right now are Ryan Jeffers of the Twins.
Who is hurt.
Yeah, he is hurt. And then also, I believe Adley Rutschman is also a name that's been thrown around. I don't believe he's hurt, right? Or
he's not.
Yeah, he is not hurt. But
I would be stunned if Baltimore did that. I mean, I think they'll move on from him, but I would be shocked if they were like, we're not worried enough to not send you in division.
Yeah, according to the reports, they were saying that it is that it's very much on the table that the Orioles could trade Rutschman to the Yankees, if they were to make the best offer for him. They're basically saying Baltimore wouldn't shy away from trading Rutschman to the Yankees just because it's the Yankees or a team in divisions. They're making it seem like it's very much on the table.
Wow.
And I am seeing the replay of this Julio nuke right now. Yeah, that's gone off the bat. That's going to the same place that that one Judge home run at Safeco Field went. Holy fuck!
Yeah, Soto, you did not have to climb the fence for that, man. It is.
Yeah. You literally could have just stood still. Like I don't think anyone would
not
have
a
been
mechanic.
mad. I don't think anyone would have been mad if you just like didn't move a single muscle.
It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, you know, I would say I'm definitely on board. I'm definitely on board with it. Both of them have similar, both of them have similar numbers and kind of a similar pedigree. I guess I'm a little more partial to. I guess I'd be a little more partial to Rutschman, but you know, I wouldn't be. You know, I wouldn't be upset with Jeffers. You know, with Jeffers either.
No, that would, and you know, not only in the sense of that he helps you this year, but I mean, he's been pretty productive for not just this year, but the last 2 years. And let me pull up. I think he might be like 28 or 29. So this is something where.
Yeah, actually, Ryan Jeffers is 28 day. He's 28 years old and 364 days. It's about to be the man's birthday.
Okay, so like he is at his peak right now. Yeah, he'll be 29 in 12 minutes.
Yep.
But someone that you could reasonably count on for the next 3 to 4 years. Like that helps you now and later. So don't hate that. I want to say he's still on his rookie. Probably will need a new deal. Yeah, because he came up in 2020. Now I don't know what they did for service time for 2020 because obviously 60-game season. So I don't know if they did prorated or I'd have to look that up. But
yeah, actually,
regardless, he's got to be coming up on a new deal sometime.
Yeah, he'll be a UFA. He'll be a UFA after this season. So
okay,
yeah, he would be a rental unless they extended him or re-signed him. Rutschman, I assume there's more control there because he's only 26, and I believe he only came up in like
22 or 23.
Yeah. So he's not a UFA until 2028. So there is a little more control there, but you know, I guess it all comes down to what the price is. I highly doubt the price for either is going to be anything like crazy or astronomical. You know, it'll probably just be like, you know, like a couple of mid-tier prospects maybe. But you know, I guess it would all come down to what the price is. Maybe, you know, maybe the Orioles, you know, maybe you'd have to give the Orioles a little bit more to get Rutschman because you're trading, you know, because you're a division rival trading for him and because, you know, he's younger and has more control. But, you know,
I would say you do have leverage in the sense of, at least for right now, Samuel Basallo is their catcher. It sounds like he's going to be a first baseman eventually, or a DH, or well, no, they'll probably move him to first, and they'll probably make Pete Alonso the DH. But
that's what they should do.
Very clearly, he has the advantage over Rutschman at this point. So, in any discussion with the Orioles, it's you don't even value him that much. Like, he's not even an everyday player for you right now.
Yeah, he hasn't played every day for them, and I think like they basically been giving him some starts on like Basallo's off days, and he like DHs here and there, but he's not. You said, he's not playing every day, so it doesn't seem like, and they already kind of moved away from him as the catcher, so. It doesn't seem like they're necessarily. It doesn't seem like they want to like go back to him being their full-time catcher. So
yeah, I don't know if it's physical or mental with Rutschman, but I very rarely have seen someone at that age. Like catchers, you see it maybe in their later 20s or early 30s because they physically break down, which, like, yeah, that happens. But, I mean, we are going on 2 full seasons or even 3 now where we just look at Rutschman and go, you were supposed to be it. What's happening?
Yeah, like he was
because he was a nailed on future all-star. Like he was going to get the max deal from Baltimore. He was going to be all these things, and none of them are happening.
Yeah, like when the Orioles, like, you know, when they had that whole fountain of youth, and you know everyone was kind of you know, in like 2024, which starting to seem more and more like kind of like a 1 year, you know, like just kind of like a 1 year wonder type of thing. But you know, like when all those guys were coming up, like Gunnar Henderson and Rutschman, like it seemed like he was primed to become like the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he was the building. He was the foundation.
Yeah, and yeah, it just hasn't panned out that way, you know. And I mean, I think it could be a good change of scenery for him too. You know, he'd still be in a hitter's ballpark at Yankee Stadium. He'd obviously have a lot of familiarity with it, and like, you know, it's weird to say this, but like in a way, it's like going from Baltimore to the Yankees for him. Like there would really not be nearly as much pressure on him. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, you're a player that the Yankees are trading for, so like there's going to be pressure to perform. You know, especially like if they're trading for him to be the everyday catcher. But he's not going to. I still don't think it's going to match like the type of pressure that he had to deal with, like, to be like the guy in Baltimore.
Yes.
Like, he wouldn't have to be the guy here. He just have to be a guy.
Yeah, like I think from the Yankees' perspective, you would just be like, "Hey, man, can you play every day? Can we reasonably expect you to contribute? We're not asking you to save the day. We have those guys. You know,
right?
Can we count on you to be the catcher every day? You can? All right, cool. You're good." Whereas with the Orioles, I think he was either a number 1 or a number 2 draft pick, and he was like the first of their prospects to come up. Like you said, like he was supposed to be the one that drugged them out of the darkness.
Yeah,
kind of did for a little bit, but it's like the closest comparison I could think of is I can't remember a catcher that was that hyped that at least early on looked like he was going to live up to it. Like he had probably been the most promising catcher since Buster Posey.
Yeah,
where San Francisco expected Buster Posey to be the guy he became, and it was very apparent right away. Oh yeah, he's just it. And Rutschman, at least for that first year or two, it was like, okay, yeah, no, this is happening. And I don't know if there's an injury they just haven't told us about or what, but I don't know where that guy went.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's something, you know, if you're doing your due diligence, you know, that's something you're gonna have to find out about as well. But yeah, would definitely welcome some more offense with still steady defense. You know, at the catcher.
Has anything opened up on the reliever market for you guys?
What's that?
Has anything opened up on the reliever market? Or I mean, because like you guys are already identifying catcher targets, and I know the bullpen was the other topic of conversation.
Yeah, there haven't really been any reports on that as far as relievers go. There is rumblings that they actually moved Carlos LaGrange to the bullpen in AAA.
Oh.
And you know, I guess they're saying that because he throws so hard that the Yankees feel like he could help their bullpen. So, you know, I think it's possible we see him up sooner or later.
We have a Jabba situation on our hands.
Perhaps a reverse Jabba situation.
Because the thing I've seen on LaGrange was I know he impressed in spring training, and he kind of had a lot of hype coming out of it. And so far in his minor league seasons, he's had a couple outings where it's, oh, that's the guy we saw in March. And then there's been a few of, okay, maybe don't expect that call up just yet. He's still got some stuff to work on.
Yeah, and then I think he came up because because of injuries early on in the year. Like
I
Freed
thought
was hurt.
Elmer was the guy who came up.
Oh yeah, that's right. Elmer came. Didn't I think LaGrange came up at one point though? Didn't he?
I don't think he has because I have him in one of my dynasty leagues, and I've just got him sitting on my taxi squad. Like I've heard all the talk. I don't want to miss this.
Yeah, you're right though. But apparently, there were reports that came out today that they're basically trying to that they moved him to the bullpen and that they're basically trying to accelerate his rise to the MLB, so that he could help the Yankees bullpen now.
I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I mean, starting pitching is not really what we need right now. That's we're kind of good on that front. Obviously the help we need is in the bullpen, and I think it might even be better for his it could even be better for his development to start out as a reliever, especially if you're throwing that hard. So yeah, it'll be interesting definitely to see when he gets called up and how that how that all transpires. But it does seem like Carlos LaGrange is coming to the Yankees bullpen pretty soon. As far as trade targets in the bullpen, they really haven't been any names that have been thrown around. Now one name that has been thrown around though, because it seems more and more like the Tigers are probably just not coming back. They've kind of seems like maybe the hole they dug themselves in is a little too deep, and the Guardians are the Guardians are kind of starting to gain some ground in the division. The White Sox are still there, but I think history tells us I think history tells us that the Guardians are inevitable in this situation. I mean, who knows? It'd be cool. It'd be cool at the Whites. It'd be a cool story if the White Sox were to win that division or even make the playoffs. But I'm selfishly kind of rooting for their downfall because I feel like Miguel Vargas could be the answer to our problems if he were to become available.
I kind of think they view him as a building block.
And it's hard to blame them for that. So. Yeah, it probably will be. That ship has probably just sailed. But one name that has come up with the way everything's going is Tariq Skubal. The fact that it looks more and more like they're just the Tigers are just not going to extend him. There's still way too much money apart. And they're not contending right now. So. The sensible thing for them would be to get some more prospects, not lose him for nothing. And I think I forget the exact list, but it was pretty much like the most obvious list ever. It was like, Tariq Skubal is more than likely than not going to get traded. And it's basically it's going to either be the Dodgers, Yankees, or I think there are a couple other teams that may have been. I'm not sure if the Mets were one of the teams that were named in that. They may not have been just because of the way their season's currently going. But you
got to keep in mind if we're seeing these labor talks, and obviously I know the initial numbers those are when you see negotiations like this, the first numbers are never what it ultimately lands on. This is basically a starting point. We're going to work from here. Let's try to find a meeting point. But I do think there's going to be something, and it might have to come to a point where the Mets are going to have to move salaries. So it's okay, we're going to have some guys that they're going to have to move off of. Can we afford to be doing this at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not? I guess afford maybe isn't the word, but can they logistically pull this off where you've got to meet the compliance number, so you're trying to move these salaries but also trying to bring this aboard, By the way, he also just had a procedure that they literally named after him, and he's about to be 30.
The Tarek Skubal surgery.
Yeah, they literally did a procedure to help try to speed up the recovery time.
Yeah, they're trying to get him.
If the Mets got involved with, that would go horribly.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea for you guys.
No.
It doesn't sound like, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's a great idea for us either. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, and like, you know, I believe that when he's healthy, that Skubal is definitely a top 2 to 3 pitcher in baseball. You know, that could be. That the landscape could be a little different now, like with with like how well like Schlittler and Mizorowski are pitching, and Skeens is still a dog. But I mean, I'd still put Skubal when healthy in the top 5. But from a Yankees standpoint, I don't know if like it's going to cost a lot to trade for him. Like we've already checked in on him, and it sounds like they're doing this procedure so that they can actually get him back out pitching before the deadline, so that they can try to get the trade value, back, so that the trade value doesn't drop, and that, to get it as high as possible. Cause they probably realize oh, like we kind of missed a great opportunity to get an absolute haul for Skubal, before this happened. And now that the season's gone the way it is, we kind of have to regain the leverage. So it almost sounds like they're doing it so that they could get him back out there, and get his trade value, keep his trade value up. But from a Yankees standpoint, I mean, I know they've already checked in on Skubal previously, and they basically decided not to pursue it because they were under the impression that it would cost them basically their entire farm system. If that's still the case, I'm probably good on pursuing Skubal, because we already have arguably the best rotation in baseball. Skubal would make it, I think Skubal would take the arguably adjective out of that sentence. But at the same time, I just feel like we kind of have a limited resources as far as expendable prospects to make trades to upgrade the team for a run this year. And I don't think starting pitching is necessarily where we should be making those investments. So as of right now, I would say and as much as it would suck, if he just went to the Dodgers, I would say that as of right now, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bleacher Report article,
and this will definitely come back to bite me when Tarek Skubal throws a complete game shutout against us in the World Series.
Listen, if they let the Dodgers get him, what we need to do is, and that's why they should.
Yeah, I think I think Israel got a hold of your mic there.
So what say you? What would you do?
Probably something along the same lines.
So I was looking at first, I was like, Skubal trade targets, and the Athletic popped up, and I was like, okay, I have an Athletic subscription. Let me see what it is. Jim Bowden, fuck that. I will not be. Listen, the literacy in this country is dropping every day. I'm not adding to it.
Yeah.
So the Bleacher Report article says the Yankees would give up George Lombard and Carlos LaGrange. I can't imagine that would be all that the Tigers would ask for. I'm not even saying that as a slight against those two. I just can't. I can't imagine it would be a 2-for-1.
Yeah, they'd want. Yeah, I feel like they'd probably want 4 motherfuckers at least.
Yeah, they'd probably want Lombard and Kilby and Roddy Arias.
It would probably be
LaGrange.
Yeah, it'd probably be every bit of that plus LaGrange, plus I don't know, plus some 18-year-old and international signing money, and I just especially with the bullpen being kind of in the shape it's in, and if the Yankees do think that LaGrange can actually come up and kind of help stabilize the bullpen a little bit, I don't see it happening, and two, I don't necessarily think that's I don't necessarily think that's what the Yankees should do, and that's not a slight at Skubal at all. Hell of a pitcher, although he did run away from the grind in the World Baseball Classic, and I think that's kind of a red flag. And then he wanted to come back just to get drunk with the team, but then they lost. So
yeah,
that definitely some character concerns there. But
they also list the Braves as one of the ideal targets. And again, I will turn into Randy Quaid at the end of Independence Day. Believe you me.
Yeah, Independence Day is coming up.
In the words of my generation, up yours. But to you, does that feel like a pressing need, or is it like, hey, look,
really not. Yeah,
it's like, man, that would just be a really nice luxury to have. But like if the rubber really meets the road and everybody's healthy, yeah, it'd be cool. But I don't think that's making or breaking us.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. It would be fucking awesome to have him, but not. I don't think at that cost. And I'm not, I'm not trying to prospect hug even. Like,
no, I get what you're saying.
I'm kind of over the prospect hugging. I am for trading. I am for trading your prospects. But I just think that it should be to address bigger areas of need than starting pitching. And obviously things can change quickly. Like, the saying goes, a luxury today could be a necessity tomorrow. But yeah, as of right now on June 3rd, 2026, I'm not selling the farm for Tariq Skubal.
Yeah, because we've talked about it during the year, and the two things that have consistently come up for you guys, at least from your perspective, has been there's really nobody at the back end of the bullpen that you'd feel great about, and you need a catcher that can give you at least something at the plate. You're not asking for 99 Pudge Rodriguez, but you want better than what you have, and I don't think that's unreasonable.
100%. Yeah. So I think a catcher. I still think we need like a third baseman that can hit and play defense. Right now we have, McMahon who can play all the defense in the world, but he can't really hit worth a damn. And then you have Ahmed Rosario who he can hit, especially he can hit against lefties, but he really cannot play the position. So yeah, if
but
they
also
could get
a good clubhouse guy, so there's that.
Yeah,
which I'm not even saying mockingly. Like that's
no, he's definitely it definitely seems like that he's like well received there. That everyone likes him. Haven't heard anything bad about him, and he's got that moxie whenever he does play and he hits a big home run. It seems like the team definitely responds well to him and feeds off of his energy. So yeah, I definitely like having him. But yeah, I think if you could just kind of solidify that position with someone that ideally someone that can hit and that also plays like above average defense would be ideal. But yeah, as of right now, it's kind of hard to really hard to like materialize that type of market. That and reliever, I'd say, are the biggest, most pressing needs at the moment. But yeah, they got some division opponents, and they got some division series as well as the rest of this Guardians series, and then they'll be in Cleveland to play them again next week. I'm gonna try and go to one of those games at the very least, since that's a pretty easy drive. I was actually gonna go up. To one of the Knicks games in Cleveland, but just had too much going on to make the trip. But Yeah, so if they could just kind of they could just kind of weather the storm, even if you go like 500 or a little slightly above 500, you could probably you know avoid like the full on June swoon, even if it's just like a June mid off. I think that would be like a step in the right direction if we could just
I would also could give you guys comfort in the fact that it appears we have all the swooning. So
yeah,
it's in the tri-state area. It is concentrated in one spot, and it is not y'all.
yeah, no. It does seem like the swooning is very much concentrated in one region in New York City, and even now, like with the Knicks in the finals, I feel like, if anything, that's probably taking a little bit of taking a little bit of heat off of the Mets for a little bit.
Yeah, man, this is by the way is what 2024 is forever going to do to this team. Is we are going to look for any sign that we might come out of it, because Jose Alvarado showed up last week, and they won their next 4 or 5, I think, after that.
Yeah, they won
like
4
the Jose Alvarado juice. No.
Yeah, Jose Alvarado, the new grimace.
Yeah.
But
nope.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I know we talked a little bit about it before we started transitioning into the Mets. It does seem like, if the Mets are going to salvage 2026, they're going to need to have a 2024 type of June. Would you?
This is the month where either it's like we keep saying, like, all right, they got through the worst of it, which, like, yeah, the losing streak's over, and it's like they had a winning record for the month of May, like 16-12, perfectly acceptable. It's just you dug yourself a 7-19 hole. So now here you are, and we've talked about it before. Like, the soft part of the schedule is already done. Like, this is part of what makes those early struggles even worse, was they were against bad teams. Like, you had a chance to. I'm not saying they would have stayed step for step with the Braves, obviously, because they're already at 40 wins. But you could have comfortably had yourself in a wild card spot, and now here we are. It's man, did Julio just hit another one? Nope, that's short. But they're about to drop the series to Seattle because they're going to lose the second of 3 here. Then you got to go to San Diego this weekend for 3, and the Padres are right there with the Dodgers. Then you get the Cardinals, who are over 500. Then you get Atlanta for the first time, and Atlanta's just beating the hell out of everybody. Then you got Cincinnati again, and they just took 2 or 3 from you. Then you got to play the Phillies for the first time. Then you play the Cubs, and you don't know which version of the Cubs are showing up. Then you got the Phillies again. So, like, again, this was where that losing. This is where I always say, like, not even that they had to flip it, but if they just even go. So we're assuming tonight's result holds up. They'll be 26-35. Say they went 6-6 in that 12-game stretch.
Yeah,
they'd be 32-29, which, like, not great, but, like, hey, yeah, 32-29. There's fun places to be.
Yeah, you'd be right around. 32-29. You'd be, you'd be right on the cusp of a wild card spot. Basically,
the Cubs have that record. They're 1 game out of the last spot.
And they just endured like a 10-game losing streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that could end up, depending how they do the rest of the season, like that could end up derailing their season. It's just it just kind of goes to show like how detrimental like one bad stretch can be to a season.
It's why they always say you don't win anything in April, but you can damn sure lose it.
And I mean, all the games,
plenty of teams have a bad April and then be fine after that.
Every game counts as one game. It doesn't matter if it's April 1st or September 30th.
Yep. The same way we look at, and I said this last year towards the end is, we're going to look at the last month because that's the last thing in our minds. But, a game that you give away first week of May counts just the same.
Yeah, I mean, and the Mets had a pretty awful June and July too last year that also like kind of set the table for them to have like the end of season collapse that they did.
Yeah, it's the one thing I've kept seeing is, they had a nice week last week and it was okay, well maybe they won't make it all the way back, but like they're not going quietly, and it's like I don't know if that's better because
they're giving you hope.
If they bottom out, like you look at 23 and that allowed them to they made the decision pretty quickly. Okay, this ain't gonna work. We're gonna move on from Scherzer and Verlander. We're gonna move on from Pham. We're gonna move on from these other guys because it was just like, well, this isn't working. And
and it made sense. Like both their contracts were expiring.
And in this case, like for this year, if the Mets are out of it, like I'd be surprised if Luis Robert is here next year because the psychopaths seem to be holding it down.
Psychopaths.
At the very least, they're playing well enough to be like, if they want to be, if that's the starting center in right field for next year, okay, I'd be all right with that. Like, okay, I mean, it doesn't help that Luis Robert hasn't played in over a month at this point. So I don't know what value he would have, but okay, we'll get his salary off the books. We tried that. It didn't work. We found an alternative. Yeah. We're okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to, and you don't have to worry about like the revisionist history of L.A. Acuna because I just don't think he's hit a ground ball out of the infield yet.
Listen, they are gonna yell at you, and by they I mean one person.
Bring it on! I'm not I'm not ducking the smoke.
To quote Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Kick ass.
Yeah, I mean,
this is one of those things where we're gonna know in 27 days' time, like, okay, are they actually gonna do this, or is this just what they are? I mean, I kind of get the feeling, we're 2 months in at this point. Like, the sample size is large enough now that this almost feels different from last year.
The evidence seems to point more towards this being who they are than a miraculous run incoming, because it also does seem like the Mets do get hot and they go on like these nice they go on these nice little like 4-game winning streaks, but it always seems like whenever they take that step forward, they take 2 steps back afterwards.
I mean, and really with where they're at now and how far in we are, like a 4 or 5 game stretch is nice. Really, you got to have like I'm not saying in a row, but like you got to pull off like
you got to win like
out of
7 out of 10
or 13 out of 16.
Yeah, you got to win like 7 out of 10 or like 12 out of 15 or 11 out of 11.
That's how you get back in this.
So they need that type of run, and they kind of need it now, and this might arguably be the hardest part of their schedule. I mean, like, they've gone, think of like how much turmoil they've gone through, and it's like you still haven't even seen the Braves or the Phillies, and you're about to see them, and it seems like the Phillies are kind of riding the ship themselves a little bit. The Braves are just like a machine this year, and the Cubs, I think, is like kind of a toss up how they're going to be playing.
Which team are you getting?
Yeah, it's kind of a matter of that. Maybe you get some paid agitators to get under PCA's skin for that series.
It's weird. People haven't been yelling at us as much this year.
Oh, about that whole thing.
Yeah.
No, these things always seem to work themselves out.
I'm scared of what this offense is going to look like facing Christopher Sanchez and Wheeler in the same series. Like, my God. Boy, yeah. Or Chris Sale. Like,
yeah.
Like we make Merrill Kelly look like 09 Lincecum out there.
Yeah. Looking at the standings, somehow the Nationals are 500.
Well, it's like we mentioned during the last show. Like, they legitimately
a lot of runs.
The Nationals legitimately have a good offense. they just have no pitching and they really don't have a defense either.
Yeah, CJ Abrams was like kind of another name I think that came up like for the Yankees as far as like a trade target. But I mean, yeah, with the Nats.
So here's the thing: I assume he would be the third baseman.
Yeah, maybe.
Or would he become your full-time shortstop? Because I can
I
tell you
don't know.
that.
I mean, Volpe's been playing pretty well.
Yeah. So I'm like, would it be like, okay, well, he doesn't really play shortstop, but like maybe third will go better for him because the reason he's an all-star is not his glove. I can tell you that from experience.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be okay with I'd be okay with a CJ Abrams at third base experiment at third. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if the Nats are like hanging around, who knows if they even decide to trade him? Maybe they like. I know they were like adamant about trading him not too long ago, but maybe they'll change their mind.
Well, I'm not even sure that they would, if they were still to be in it by the end of July. I don't even know if that would hold them back because we were kind of wondering where they were at the end of last season, and then they traded Mackenzie Gore, which surprised me because I thought, well, okay, yeah, he wasn't like good last year, but he's supposed to be a guy that you build with.
Yeah.
And he was one of the Soto guys, which Abrams also is. So it's like,
yeah,
they don't, and this is a new front office now, so they don't feel beholden to, well, we made the Soto trade, so we got to make this work. No, they don't. And if they were okay with trading Mackenzie Gore, I would have to think they'd be okay trading Abrams too, regardless of what the standings are telling them. It sounds like they're kind of doing their own reset. And then remember, they had the number 1 pick in the draft last year, and they took a shortstop. And that's also remembering that 2 years ago, they spent a top 10 pick on a shortstop. They had
that's
so
true.
last year they took Eli Willits, who's Reggie Willett's kid. And 2 years ago, they took Seaver King, who, funny story, he started at Wingate, which is a Division II school. He actually played down here against Florida Tech, I believe, his sophomore year. And then he just killed it at Wingate. He was incredible. And Wake Forest was like, why don't you move on up? You got a future in this sport. Why don't you showcase it? He's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you do make some salient points here. The one thing I would push back on though is like I would say that just because like with the way the MLB draft works, like these guys are so far away from like being there unless you draft like a Paul Skeens or something and he comes up within like and he comes up within like a year, which is rare, but it's like I feel like it's starting to become a little more common that these guys are like kind of fast tracking their way to the majors lately.
It's more likely to happen with college guys. I'll say
but
that.
I feel like you don't really draft based on position in the MLB draft. Like I don't think like you like say there was an elite shortstop prospect you wanted to take. I don't think you would I don't think you would say, oh well, we're not going to draft the shortstop because we have CJ Abrams.
That's true.
But
I also think
that would be like my only pushback. But that doesn't mean they're not trading him.
Well, and I think conversely, I think that would be a reason why it's like, well, yeah, we don't want. It's our first instinct isn't to trade CJ Abrams, but we have Seaver King and we have Eli Willits down here. Like, if we have to get by with somebody at short for a year, because I think Seaver King either just got to AA or just got to AAA. Like, and I know this is the perks of playing Dynasty Baseball. Apparently, the Nationals completely scrapped their scouting system and their player development system with this new front office. And they said, yeah, nobody's benefited from that more than him, Seaver King.
Yeah.
Because he was more of just a hit tool guy when they drafted him. It's like, no, he actually has pop now. It's like, we're never saying he'll be a 30 homer guy, but like he's actually a credible threat now. And he kind of had everything else. So let's see what they do with him. On top of, you took a high school shortstop number 1. So eventually the hope is he comes up and he's the guy anyway. But anyway.
For sure. Basically, moral of the story is the Nats run on no one's time but their own. They They will randomly win a World Series, then they will trade a generational player, and then they'll get some good pieces in said generational trade, but then they'll kind of just decide they'll reset and trade those guys, and they'll decide they'll compete on their time. Basically, they're not following the rules as far as like having like a window or whatever. They're just kind of they're just out here vibing, and they're gonna do what they want. So I respect it. But
I will not respect the Nationals. I won't do it.
Understandable. Have a great day.
Other than the fact that they developed Juan Soto and thankfully,
they have my eternal respect for beating the Astros in that World Series.
I can't respect them winning the World Series.
Well, you know,
me and Juan Soto might.
Yes.
Me and Juan Soto, I think we might both be the John Wall meme, which is if it wasn't for my two boys, I might kill myself. Which is Carson Bench and AJ Ewing.
Yeah, let's talk about Juan Soto and his fellow psychopaths in the outfield. It seems like
Juan Soto and the Psychopaths is a phenomenal punk band name.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to spell Juan like in like a tacky way though, I feel like.
O-N-E.
It'd be O-N-E or like W-O-N or something.
Yeah.
But pretty good definitely a good punk band name. But yeah, Juan Soto and the Psychopaths basically.
I want to make sure I got it wrong. It's from Winker Nation on Twitter who said Juan Soto and the Psycho White Boys is kind of a killer band name.
Juan Soto and the Psycho White Boys. Yeah, there's like a lot of ways you could go with that. Like you could be like, you could do like Beastie Boys style rap or be like a Beastie Boys cover band. You could be a punk band.
I don't hate that.
You could be like a joke band that's like, unserious. There's a lot of a lot of directions you could go.
A Slipknot cover band, but with accordions.
Yeah, except you need like 8 more outfielders to make that work.
But no, and people might look at the raw numbers, especially I know AJ Ewing's batting numbers have kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I know he got his first double tonight, but he has been playing some phenomenal center field. Had a couple of catches last night where you're just like, oh, you just know how to do this. Like he was a second baseman. He did play some outfield as an amateur, and I think the Mets tried to get him as many reps in the outfield as they could because they looked at it as a possibility. But like very clearly can handle center field, which, Carson Bench was supposed to be the center fielder. And oddly enough, it's just like, Ewing's comfortable out there. I don't mind that. And yeah, his OPS is a little over 620 at the moment. So not great, but it does show some discipline at the plate. And, this is basically every rookie ever. It started well for him. Now they got a book. Now he's got a counter.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, you're seeing it with Carson Bench right now. You got to let Ewing hit his way out of this because, here we are now. I think after tonight, Carson Bench has now brought his OPS over 700. He had his first 2-homer game tonight. He's hitting 254 now, and he was in like the 150s about a little over a month ago. And now it's like, we don't expect Bench is going to be white hot the rest of the year, but I think this fan base feels a lot better about Carson Bench now than they did at the start of May. So, you give that same grace to Ewing, and who knows where we'll be at the All-Star break.
Yeah, and Ewing's even younger. And
he's even faster too.
Yeah, he's younger and faster. He covers more. Yeah, he's covering more ground in out in center. And I'm not sure. I'm not as well versed on the Mets prospects as you are, but so I'm not sure. Out of Bench and Ewing, which one was kind of more hyped? I would assume probably
Bench for sure.
Yeah, because I think Benj in spring training before he got called up, like wasn't he like a top 5 to 10 prospect in the sport?
He was also a first round pick, so that was one of those like, and he was a college first round pick, so it was one of those like, okay, he's closer to being a finished product. We might get to see him sooner rather than later. So it was, how quickly can he get good in the minors and consistently showcase it? Because if he could do that, like, hey man, doors open,
right
on in.
Yeah, I got this Diamondbacks the end of this D-backs Dodgers game, and
same here.
Murillo just threw a pitch that I thought the catcher should have challenged. They called it a ball, but it should have been I think it should have been a strike. The first pitch of the at bat against Pages.
Oh, okay. I just saw Pages reach. I might have missed the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was earlier in the at bat. It's 1-2 now for me. He just fouled off a sinker, but yeah, no, I'm just waffling.
What is blood waffling about?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it really does seem like right now that the
that one.
Yeah, that the outfielders are really maybe not so much Ewing because he's still like he's still kind of figuring it out at the plate. But Soto and Benz really do seem like they're the two guys right now that are kind of like carrying the Mets offense.
And it really is wonderful.
Hitting better too.
And it really is wonderful to see that. I think you're right, because I went back and rewound it. That kind of hit. It's the new guideline of, well, but it clipped. Like it hit that.
Yeah.
All it's got to do is.
I saw more discourse, about the ABS recently, where someone's like, "Oh, there's no way you should be overturning a pitch if if a fraction of the baseball, like if a millimeter of the baseball is catching the strike zone." It's like, that's kind of the rules. Like, it's not the way it works.
I do admit that it does feel a little flawed because, what's everyone taught growing up? It's like, you got to live in the zone. Like the best pitchers fill up the zone. Like you attack.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to be throwing breaking balls that it's like, okay, yeah, but that's designed to make the hitter chase. That's understandable if he's throwing away there.
Yeah, you're not trying to get like an ABS strike call.
Yeah, with a 90, like if you're trying to live 99 on the edge, like you're not supposed to be doing this. Oh, well, it just glanced. Like if this is new, like okay, fine, but I feel like that should have been established. Like the strike zone that you knew and the strike zone that you were taught, like, hey, this is how you make your living. Well, it's different now. You just got to clip it. You've just got to make sure that some part of the zone got touched. Because, I think that's kind of jarring for everyone. But as we've seen with so many other things with rule changes in many sports, people get upset. But then you know what happens? These guys are the best in the world. They get used to it.
Yeah, they adjust to it.
I got to figure out what to do here.
Yeah, there's an adjustment period. And I think that is a good point of like, as far as like, the strike zone you knew and like the way you kind of grew up pitching, like, is changing now with this. But I think like the great equalizer is the fact that you only get 2 a game and like you lose your challenges if you don't get them right. Makes them a lot more valuable and makes teams a lot more hesitant to like use the challenges, especially early on in games. So I do feel like, I think it's good that they at least have like that to, kind of like evens things out. I think.
I do hope that they leave the challenge number at 2, at least for now.
Yeah, I don't think it should go up.
Because I think what you're seeing is, because we've talked about this, is we see on broadcast teams are like, you're leading off and it's 0-0 in the 4th inning. And that was kind of borderline. That wasn't even a 50-50 call. You might get that call. Why are you contesting? You're leading off the inning and it's 0-0. Why would you do this? We might need this later.
Yeah.
And, if teams are just going to be willy-nilly about it, because you can see there are teams who definitely understand, okay, we got to save this for when it actually matters, as opposed to like, Nope, I don't like that. And the teams that are not as disciplined about it, if you're a pitcher, I'm absolutely using that to my advantage of, oh, you wanted to use both your challenges by the 5th? Cool.
All right.
I'm making my living on the outside the rest of the night. You're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Yep.
Also,
so it can definitely change the course of a game.
Do you have the Diamondbacks broadcast on or the Dodgers broadcast?
It's the Dodgers feed.
Okay, so they might not have shown it. I don't know if I'm speaking on behalf of 4 to 7 Pod LLC here, but we will never be a Tarps Off podcast. I can always speak for myself. Y'all don't want that. I promise.
Yeah, Tarps on, fuck it, Tarps off. So I'm not too familiar with this whole tarps thing, although I did see something about wasn't it in the game last night against the Mets, like they took the tarp off of that the upper deck at T-Mobile Park, and there are a bunch of shirtless fans like berating the Mets or something.
I mean, but like this is the thing. It's like every home stadium now. Well, actually, I don't think Citi Field has it yet. I don't think. But there's a lot of places. It's just a bunch of shirtless white boys. Like really,
yeah.
That's all it is. But
okay.
They just showed the one in Phoenix, and that might be the most I've seen.
Damn. Yeah. I'm not I'm definitely not a fan of that type of behavior. I will not partake or
Stefan, come get your mans.
Yeah. Yeah. Baker Burrow is up there somewhere. I can't even take credit for Baker Burrow because he named his I think he named his college his NCAA coach that. Which because of course he would, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm not a fan of the tarps off. Nah, fuck it, tarps on.
Yeah, you want this tarp to stay on, I promise.
Yeah. No, you don't.
But no, this is
see this.
Also, I think a side effect of Bedge and Ewing having at least a little bit of success here sure seems to make Juan Soto happy. And I always thought the whole he doesn't actually like being here. I thought that was bullshit. But anyway,
yeah, I think it always was bullshit.
My fear right now, given how this season's gone and how last season ended, my fear is he's taking that 5-year opt-out if things don't get better. And I wouldn't blame him because he didn't sign up for this. But he sure as hell seems to love being around those guys and clowning around with them and teaching them stuff. And they asked him the other day, it's like, it sure seems like you talk to them a lot, as a mentor. You've accomplished so much, and these guys are just starting out. So, what do you guys talk about? What do you show them with your experience? And he's like, well, I don't really look at myself as a mentor. I want to be one of the guys. I don't want to put that pressure on me or on them. That they have to be serious around me. I want to be one of the team. So that's how I carry myself with them. I want them to enjoy what they're doing, and I want to enjoy what I'm doing. And I feel like that's a good thing, because if anything, I mean, it's got to be a trip for those guys to be like, man, we're in the same outfield with Juan Soto. We grew up watching this dude. Now he's our teammate. And it's like, he wants to be at BP with us and have fun. Like, man, this is pretty sick.
Yeah, he wants.
And he's just like,
wants to hang out.
Hey, we're at batting practice. Let's get after it. And like, maybe that's one of those little things that, I mean, hopefully the results don't stay like this, but if little things like this add up for him, and because for me, when Juan Soto signed, the idea was like, oh, well, he'll spend the rest of his career here, go into Cooperstown with a med cap, we'll put 22 up with all the other numbers, and given everything that's happened in the past 9 months, it's, man, I wouldn't blame him if he doesn't want to stay here. Yeah. So hopefully this helps.
Is it me or a couple of your numbers missing? It looks like there's
so. I'm glad you brought that up. The Willie Mays and Doc Gooden ones, I have them taped, and for whatever reason, they won't stay up. I am trying all kinds of solutions to get this. I do need to fix this anyway, because I am going to get in touch with the guy who mailed me all these, because I need to find out if he's making a Carlos Beltran one. Because if he does, then this has to get rearranged anyway. But yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know if
did they retire his number yet, or did they?
Not yet. I think they're waiting until after Cooperstown to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because didn't they have a Hall of Fame thingy the other day?
Yeah, they did the Mets Hall of
Lou Lamoriello
and Bobby Valentine.
Yeah. Yeah, Lou. I guess Lou was there for his fellow Italian Lee.
Funny thing was Friday night they actually did like a fake mustache giveaway, or fake disguise giveaway, and that's not the first time that's happened. And I know this. I'm not trying to give away info or whatnot, but my boss, where I work, went to Sacred Heart University. She was an athlete there. At the same time that Bobby Valentine was the athletic director there. And Bobby Valentine, if you may remember, was working the alumni or the old timers game that the Mets had last year. And he did the fake getting thrown out, come back in with the disguise. So I send her the video and I'm like, you might know this man. She says, oh yeah, we actually had a giveaway with this while I was at Sacred Heart.
That
was pretty funny.
No, that's sick.
But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I think they did this with Piazza too, because they retired his number the year that he went in. And I think they're going to wait, Cooperstown is the big day. You have that first. We'll be here waiting for you. So
that makes sense.
I want to say it's like in early September, I think, is when they're doing it.
Yeah, because we're not retiring CeCe's number till like the last weekend of the season against the Orioles.
Wow.
So that's not that's not happening until like the end of September. But I feel you on the whole numbers thing. That 51 there in the center has been giving me some trouble. I've had to patch it back up a few times.
Related note, we didn't touch on this a couple weeks ago. The first night that Nick Morabito was up, they gave him 8, and people were like, "What the hell? No one's worn that in 25. What are we doing?"
Right.
And I guess it just might have been a miscommunication. It's like, hey, we got to get him something. We're on the road. He needs a number. Like, we'll switch it tomorrow night. And then it came out a day or two later. And I guess Howie Rose must have said it on air. And I guess he's on the committee that decides these things. I know Gary Cohen is too. Apparently they voted on this last year as to whether to retire 8. And they said no.
Oh, wow.
That was...
I would have thought it was a thing where, I thought it was like unspokenly retired, and that, I would have figured Gary Carter would have had to have like given his blessing.
Well, I mean,
is he still
he's not here to do that?
Oh yeah, I wasn't. He was one I kind of forgot if he was still with us or not. But
he passed not long before the Johan it was before the 2012 season. Because
he's been gone.
Funny enough, another connection. Before he died, he was coaching baseball at a school in the conference I work in. He was down at Palm Beach Atlantic, and I actually got to meet him a couple times because even before they joined our league, like they were a school in Florida. So like when we needed to fill out our non-conference, we always played them. So I actually got to cover us playing them once or twice. So I actually did meet him. But yeah, I think he had his diagnosis like right after the 2011 season or in May 2011.
Oh yeah. He was.
I think by like the next February he was gone.
Yeah, February 2012. Yeah, he was only 57. Shit.
Yeah,
it's a bummer.
That was tough. But yeah, that one kind of surprised me because everyone had said that for years. It's like, well, nobody wears it, and now they're actually doing this sort of thing. Like this just makes sense. He's in the Hall of Fame, admittedly not as a Met, but pretty important player. So that was a bit shocking.
Yeah, no, that is pretty that is a pretty shocking development in this whole ordeal that his number is not retired.
So we'll restart this discussion in a few years when it's time for 48. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, in due time we'll get there. But yeah, we talked a good bit about the psychopaths in the offense. Let's talk a little bit about the pitching. It seems like the pitching is somewhat come back to life. Maybe not the best showing tonight, but
and Jonah Tong had been one of those cases where you're like, okay, maybe he just needed some more time. And
yeah,
first out against the Marlins was good
tonight.
Well, his first two outings were good. He threw 3 scoreless innings against the Marlins. Last week against the Reds, he gave up the 1 unearned run in 3 2/3 innings. But maybe the more impressive thing was, and follow me here, he walked 4, and he got himself into a couple jams. But those were definitely situations that when he was in the major leagues last year, he doesn't get out of. And those could have been innings with crooked numbers. And admittedly, tonight, he didn't come into a clean situation. He had to come in before the end of an inning, which I don't think they wanted to do, but I think the situation kind of dictated it. But still, he turns 23 this month, and he's still only made but so many appearances in the major leagues. So there's going to be time to fix this. I mean, he's still got great swing and miss stuff. His strikeout numbers are still great. That hasn't been the issue. I think this is a case of the talent's there. It's what I was talking about. There's a difference between throwers and pitchers. And I think he's learning to pitch at the major league level where it's like, hey, everybody.
He doesn't really have the velocity to be a thrower.
Well, he kind of does. He doesn't throw as hard as McClain does, mind you, but he can get no one's confusing him for Kyle Hendricks.
True.
And tonight, even still, did give up a few hard hits, only walked 2 in 3 1/3. Problem was just didn't put guys away. Like we mentioned, the home run to Pareda, I think it was a 10 or 11 pitch at bat, and Pareda must have fouled off about 5 of them.
Yeah, and then he just got a hold of one. I mean, he was kind of bound to dick one after getting hit in the dick with a ball to start the podcast.
Bars.
Yeah.
Also was not helped by his defense. Not a great night for the Met defense.
No.
But the first 2 outings have been encouraging. Christian Scott continues to look really good out there. And that's maybe been the biggest thing. And I know the elephant in the room will be, well, hey, how's Nolan McClain look these last 2 outings? Not great, but I would say, with almost no exceptions, everybody has this at some point. Everybody. The question is how long it lasts. I mean, you know, the story everyone will always point to, anyone that was here that watched Jacob deGrom's entire time with the Mets, is 2014 he was great. 2015 was great. 16 was great till he got hurt. He was not quite the same pitcher in 2017. Now, he was not a scrub by any means, but in 2017, he was not the pitcher he was for those first 3 years. And I think it might have been maybe around this time or maybe a little later in the year. But he had that start in Texas where, I mean, they hit him all over the yard. And he comes out of the game and Terry Collins is talking to him, and they have that shot of him in the dugout, and you can see him tearing up because he was just not used to that. And I kind of remember at that point, because at this point, I think we were all pretty much convinced that Harvey wasn't getting it back. So it was like, are we losing him too? And then he ascended to the level that we know he is now. Like that, those struggles in 2017 made him the pitcher that he is. And so for Nolan McClain, it was pretty good for you for your first dozen or so starts. Now they have a book on you. Now they know what they're looking for. They know your strengths. What are you going to do? And just everything that I had seen to start for Nolan McClain, up until these last 2 starts, I never watched him and felt like, oh, it's only a matter of time. To me, like watching him, it felt like, okay, he can do that. Like barring injury, that's very repeatable. Nothing felt flukish about what he was doing. So To me, yeah, he's got some things to work on. Clearly, I don't know if he's tipping pitches or not, but clearly there's some things to iron out. And again, this happens to literally everybody.
Yeah.
So the question now is, all right, what needs to be done?
Yeah. Like McLean came out, McLean came out last year, and was like pitching really well, and obviously pitched well enough to earn a spot on the World Baseball Classic roster. And even his showings in the World Baseball Classic, while the statistically may not have been the greatest, or people might like kind of point fingers at him for like, we lost the final by a run. I mean, I don't know what else he's supposed to do when they could only score one run. Like, you weren't going to win 1-0. But
No.
yeah, it seems like, and then even like the start of this season, he was pitching pretty well, and it was kind of a matter of time before they get some tape on him, get a book on him, and he'd hit like a little bit of a proverbial wall in like his
These are major
second
league
year.
hitters.
Yeah.
Like it'll happen.
Yeah, no, pitchers go through slumps just like hitters do, especially in the early stages of their career. So, it's pretty much just how are you gonna respond, and how are you going to counter the book that is out on you.
But yeah, this is at the very least, you can feel pretty good about Christian Scott, and I still feel pretty good about McLean, and I do think there is something to be salvaged there with Jonah Tong, and I think I
wouldn't even say salvage. I think like there's still, I'd even say there's still a chance he's like a pretty good pitcher.
Yeah. I mean, and from
I feel like out of the pitchers you could have traded to Milwaukee, like you probably made the right choice.
Yeah, Brandon Sproat so far, it has not gone well. Although the thing I will continue to say with him is, if there was any team that, if you were trading a young arm to, it's like if they were going to Milwaukee, you'd feel like, well, if he can't make it work there, then what?
Yeah.
Like you look at what they're doing right now with Kyle Harrison. Like, he was a prize prospect, and for whatever reason, the Giants just never called him up. And he was someone whose name you heard a lot for a couple years, and the Giants could have used the help in their rotation, and just for whatever reason could never get above AAA for whatever reason. And then they sent him to Boston in the Devers trade, and didn't work out there. I think it might have been Harrison for Durbin straight up, which, oh boy. And I don't even think even the Giants thought Kyle Harrison could be this good when he was making the rise through their system. I mean, his DRA is like 1.5 something. He's been incredible. So the fact that Sproat's ERA is somewhere around 6 right now, and Pat Murphy publicly called him out after he got hit over the weekend. Oh boy.
Wait, who called him out?
The manager.
Oh, wow.
I forget what his line was. I think it was on Sunday, but then Pat Murphy was like, hey, we've got patience, but, it's a two-way street, and, we can't tolerate many duds like that. And everyone's like,
oh, damn.
Wow, you said that about your rookie pitch? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, since the beginning of May, he's only gotten like past the 5th inning one time.
Yeah, and the April numbers weren't much better.
No, they were not. So he is, he's 25 now, so he'll be 26 in September. So like, he's still young, but like, I feel like he's still young, but like if he keeps pitching like that, it's gonna get old fast, and they'll move on, and then maybe he'll become someone else's reclamation project. I know everyone's like, oh well, if he can't figure it out in Milwaukee, where will he figure it out? But I don't know. Someone will take a chance on him.
Yeah. But for the Brewers, it's like they're they're trying to win something this year, and it's like we
Yeah.
can't run this out every fifth day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can't derail your season because you're trying to develop a prospect. That you traded your ace for. And I think that's a good segue into kind of the last Mets topic of the evening. So we kind of talked about this. So let's say the Mets don't salvage their season here. June goes the way you expect, or maybe it goes worse than you expect, and July comes around and you're still out of it. Are you picking up the phone and are you dealing Freddie Peralta
for the right price? I'm not just doing it to do it. Obviously, this is a big. Ideally, it's also like depending on what numbers he wants to settle on for an extension, we can talk. But I think I've said here on the show, now he did recently have a 7-inning outing, but I think that's one of maybe 2 times he's gone past the 5th this year. And I'll reiterate, and if I sound like old man yells at a cloud here, please point it out. But for the numbers that we've heard bandied about that his camp apparently wants, man, I need more than 5 innings on most starts. Like if you want to get paid like an ace, you got to pitch like one.
Yeah.
And I need at least 6, and I need 6 sharp innings. And again, is he the reason that this season's gone the way it has? No. Has he been outright bad? No. Could he be better? Absolutely. And again, he was supposed to be a difference-making acquisition. And, even if he had pitched say he was putting up like CC Sabathia Milwaukee type numbers, like say he was doing that, it still might not matter, but you would feel better in being like, okay, the actual move itself was the right thing. It's the other stuff that hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it's the other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's more.
We're not even at that right now.
Yeah, like right now, it's like he's not necessarily the problem. He's not necessarily part of the problem, but you also can't say that he's been part of the solution.
I look at Juan Soto. He is absolved of whatever this is.
I think a lot of the talk around Soto is just like ridiculous because it's like he's still like one of the 3 best players in the sport, and one of those players happens to also pitch at like a Cy Young level at the moment. So,
but Chris, he doesn't have people on base in front of him. That's his fault.
It is. He needs to get on base for himself and drive himself in. But I mean, and like to that whole argument, like, I do think that it's a good idea for him to hit leadoff because he gets on base so much, number one. But I mean, he's also shown that he can he's actually like kind of a savvy base runner. He can steal, and he hits enough home runs, especially lately. He's been hitting enough home runs that he actually is driving himself in.
Also, like, I'm not even saying like, even if he were to stay here for the rest of that contract, like, oh, you have to hit him lead off permanently. No, but
it's just like
when your offense is like this, you got to try.
Right, yeah,
when your offense is hitting like this, you got to try unconventional things. Like we saw it in 24. They did that in 24. And like the offense was kind of stop start. All right, we're gonna move Lindor to leadoff, and I remember initially being like, that's not really what he's for, though. Like he's the guy that's like he's driving other people in. That's what he's always done. Turned out to be the right move. And I'm not saying that's what would happen here, but it's like everything else they've tried with this offense isn't working. Why not have the best hitter on earth leading off? Like
also
just to say that you tried every option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, also, wouldn't in theory don't you want your best hitter to get the most at bats? The way to do that is hit them lead off.
The Cubs and Phillies did that with Schwarber for years with that exact premise.
Yeah, and he wasn't even, and he wasn't nearly as much of like an on base guy. Like it was kind of just like, oh, we'll just start the game off with a nuke.
Yeah, it's like,
because why not?
Well, to Schwarber's credit, obviously he doesn't have Juan Soto's eye, but he's not Adam Dunn either. He's got a decent eye. So the premise was either, well, he's smart enough to work a walk, or if he makes contact, it's going to be loud and something good's going to happen.
Yeah.
So so it definitely out of the ballpark. Like, he does hit doubles, so you take that too.
Yeah. So it definitely, it definitely makes sense, I think, for him to hit leadoff. But yeah, I would agree
with Freddie Peralta. If it's something that can, if this is something where it's like, okay, this would definitely help us in 2027, or okay, they're going to give us some prospects that are like this close to being up. Okay. All right. Again, I'm not saying yes to every call that I'm getting, but for the right price, if it's something that's going to make my team better in the short to medium term, yeah, I'll listen.
Yeah, and I think you should. I think it would probably be, this is the last year of his this is the last year of his contract. He will be a UFA like after this season, but I don't think, even with that, I don't think you move him just to, just for peanuts. I do think there needs to be something of significance there. You either need to get a prospect that is ready or close to ready, and maybe a couple of other, like lottery tickets on some like 18-year-olds or something.
Like say the Brewers, if the Brewers were like, hey, we need one more guy behind Mizorowski and Harrison, we'll give you Jesus Made.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we're talking.
Jesus made.
We'll give you Bryce Terang. All right. You have my attention.
Yeah, I think that could be a deal worth making. It would also be pretty funny if this ended up just being like a 3-month rental, and then he just went back to Milwaukee for another 3-month rental before.
But we ended up getting a prospect that was better than either of the ones we sent out. Sure.
Yeah.
That's the cost of business.
That's how you win. That's how you win the trade in the end. You make another trade.
I believe they call that the art of the deal. Anyway, where were we?
Not me. I think we are. I think we are ready to. To end the show. But before we do that, we do have one last thing to discuss. Now, I think it was the last episode, or maybe within the last couple of episodes, I know that quantum physics was brought up on the podcast, and we're going to talk a little bit more about quantum physics.
Let's do
it. We teased it, and I promised it, and I've figured out a way to actually make it quantifiable. So the final question of the night. And I want everyone else to participate in this too, in the Discord, in the comment section on this, Twitter, wherever you want to make your voice heard. If you could travel back in time and go to and attend a game at one ballpark that no longer exists, what would it be? And you can go really in any direction you want to go. You could pick one that, you could pick a park that, didn't exist when you were alive, something that was there, something that existed before you were even born and was gone before you were born. You could go that route. If you said, I just want to go to one last game at Shea Stadium or old Yankee Stadium, you could do that. There's no limitations or no restrictions to what you could do.
So I almost want to split this in two here.
All right.
I feel like, so when you asked me this, I felt like you were saying almost like, did you want to go and just experience the park? Like, not even necessarily go back in time for this specific game.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily mean a specific game. Although if you had a specific game you wanted to, then by all means.
I would say though, if I did get to go to Shea Stadium a handful of times, but if I could have been there for something meaningful, I've said here plenty on the show, my probably arguably still my favorite Met team was the 99 team. That was the team that like truly made me fall in love with this, that made me follow this day in and day out. And to have gone to one of the home playoff wins in 99, whether the Todd Pratt game or the comeback against the Braves in the NLCS or the 15-inning game and being a part of that, and the way they always talked about like Shea Stadium in big moments literally moved. There's a famous clip. They did a DVD of Billy Joel's because it was the last concert at Shea, and they kind of intertwined his career with the history of Shea Stadium. And when they get to the Buckner game, Keith Hernandez talked about being in the clubhouse when the game got tied. And he said, it felt like I was underneath an earthquake. And he was like, man, if we win this game, I hope this old place can withstand this. It's like, that's what Shea Stadium used to be like. It physically would move when everyone was going nuts. And you'd see the camera shake on TV. And I would love to have been in Shea Stadium for one of those, to know what that feels like when, and especially being one of the people causing that, because inevitably I'd be losing my mind. But the very first thing I thought of when you brought this up, for me, it's Ebbets Field. And it's kind of a spiritual connection thing, because I've mentioned before, my grandfather was one of those Met fans that he went to the Mets because he didn't have an option after the Brooklyn Dodgers left. And he told me so many stories about seeing so many different players at Ebbets Field, and all the different stories he told me about taking the trains to the game, and how Stan Musial literally got called the man because he took the subway to the games when the Cardinals were in town, and everyone was like, hey, that's the man. That's him. That's how it started. And kind of want to out my connection to baseball. I mean, obviously I love sports anyway, but hearing my grandfather talk about the sport before I was alive, and now he was there for so much of it, really helped build that for me. And I would love to know what it was like to actually be in Ebbets Field for the Dodgers during their heyday in the late 40s and early 50s, and just to know what that was like, because I've seen so many books and documentaries made about them, and it's I don't doubt it. I'm sure it was great. I would love to be able to go in there one time and know what that was like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have any one. I guess maybe if you wanted me to say one specific game, I will say I would love to know what a Dodgers-Giants game looked like, because you would hear it's oh, man, there'd be so many fights in the stands. But it would be the type where, you could get in a fight in the stands there, and you can leave when the game ended. It's when Dodgers and Giants fans fight now, we know about it. And I don't say that as jokes. I'm saying that's kind of a reflection of where we are. But it's back then it was just oh yeah, if you go to a Dodgers Giants game, there's going to be a fight, probably multiple, because that's how it is. But they were, and that's kind of what baseball's lore was built on, was just yeah, baseball means that much in New York City. And usually the Dodgers and Giants were right near the top of the standings. So when they played each other, it meant something, not just for the season, but in the neighborhood. Because inevitably, if you were a Dodger fan, you probably knew 10 Giant fans and you hated their guts, and vice versa. And I would love to know, just to be around and see what that, take all that in. I think, and I would always said, Ebbets Field was beautiful for its time, and then you add in all the history. It's yeah, I would love to know what that was like.
Yeah. No, those are very solid choices. I do like the way you split it up, and for the sake of that, I think I'll do the same. I think that obviously would love to go. Would love to experience one more game at Old Yankee Stadium. Only got to really make it to a small amount of games there. I think I've only been to 4 games at the Old Yankee Stadium, 4 or 5. So if I were to pick a specific game to experience at Old Yankee Stadium, I'd probably go with, it'd be easy to say clinching the 99 World Series against the Braves would be an easy one. But I think a sick game, a really sick game to have been at would be games 2007, game 3 of the ALCS. the Boone walk-off home run. Like, I think that would have been like an absolutely bonkers game.
You mean Game 7 in 2003?
I said 2003.
Oh, I thought you said 2007. That's why I was.
Oh no, I mean, unless I slipped up, but no, I thought it said Game 7, 2003 ALCS. But yeah,
no, that I kind of was thinking, I'm like, if Chris does the same thing as me, then he should absolutely pick that, because I don't hate that either.
Yeah, that would be my pick for that. My pick for like a ballpark that I just wasn't around for, I would go Polo Grounds. Not even any specific, not necessarily even any specific game at the Polo Grounds that I have in mind. I would just love to go and just kind of see like what really from any seat, like whether it's like, behind the plate or, along the baselines or like out in like, or out in the outfield. I would love to just see like what the sight lines are like at a game with like a field with those dimensions, and just see like all the chaos that ensues with those dimensions. And then as an honorable mention, just to mention one stadium outside New York, since we pretty much just all been picking all New York stadiums. I would say for outside New York, I would say Candlestick.
Yeah, that's hard to beat that one. I was thinking like, if we're going to try to be non-New York centric, because this did cross my mind, like the old ballpark in Arlington, the one that preceded the current one.
Oh yeah,
it looked beautiful.
Really that would be
on TV. It's like, that looks nice. I'm sure it's not fun in the daytime, but
yeah, it's probably brutal. Yeah, a friend of mine actually went there. Like, I don't think it may have been one of the last. I'm not sure if it was one of the last games there, or I know he went during the last season. I'm gonna have to ask him. But that would be a good one. I remember he was kind of like asking me if I wanted to like go, but I forget what I had going on, but just couldn't make it happen.
I guess now that I think about it, I know it no longer exists, but Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, if for no other reason, that is the home of the Bucks' first Super Bowl. So that would it'd be nice to walk around there.
Yeah, that works too. Qualcomm Stadium.
Well, so on that note, you now have technically been on the site of the Jets Super Bowl win too, because that Marlins Park is on the site of the Orange Bowl.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. Did not realize where I was, but I knew I wore my Jets hoodie to those games for a reason.
There you go.
Yeah,
but no, I do like the 2003 choice, just because it's one of those that, like, and especially as we've gotten away from. I mean, I kind of knew at the time, like, man, this was something. Even though I didn't like the result, but I knew at the time, I'm like, yeah, we're like in 20 years, I'm going to be talking about this. I knew that. Like, that's probably as close to a Super Bowl as baseball has felt in my lifetime. And I know that used to be the norm for baseball, like for the World Series and all that, but for pure drama, yeah, that's one of those, man, I would love to be in the stadium, like, just to like walk around and hear everybody talking, like, as that game's going on, like, man, it's really going to happen. We're actually going to lose to these guys. I can't. And then the 8th inning starts. Hey, just need 2 more. They're leaving them, like, yeah, just to take in the sounds and know what the vibe was like as that's happening in real time. Like, what were people talking about? Like, what was the mood? Like, how soon do people know, like, oh yeah, we're doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, you could kind of gauge it. Like, I feel like you could kind of gauge it, like, if you, like, if you were to rewatch that game and, with, like, the crowd noise, I feel like you could kind of tell when the vibe shifted and, when Yankee fans realize, like, oh, we're still in this and, like, we're going to do this. But I think, like, yeah, actually being, like, in the stadium, like, hearing, like, the chatter and the conversations, like, people were having would definitely add to that. So, yeah, would be sick.
There's one image that's always stuck with me from that game, and for the Yankee fans that are watching, maybe you've seen it, I don't know, but there's it's clearly taken from across the field, but Pedro's walking back to the dugout as he's getting taken out. And you can see like Yankee fans are like holding up like a Clemens jersey, and it's a bunch of them. Like, I'm sure there's probably some wild shit getting yelled at.
Oh,
but like clearly they are on his head. And given the intensity that's like, that's one of those moments where it's like, you broke him. You broke the unbreakable ace. It's tied. Everyone at that point knew what was going to happen. Like that is like, those are the moments you live for as a fan. Is like for me, I would have loved to have been near the Phillies dugout after the Lindor Grand Slam in Game 4 in 2024, because I would have been yelling everything in the book. Yeah. like I remember after Cespedes hit the home run in 2015, it was the game after the Utley play. I was yelling everything in the world at the Dodgers. I was like Evander Holyfield in the Sports Center commercial. Utley, come on out here and get your whooping. Chase, come on out. So yeah, like those like I can't imagine just being in the building to see something like that, and you're like, man, how on earth do you do this? And then it happens. I would have blacked out.
Yeah, I'd probably do the same. But those are some good answers. So if you've made it this far, definitely let us know where you would go. And on that note, make sure, of course, you're subscribed to our channel, subscribe to the Middle Initial Podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Patreon. Join the Discord, get involved, buy a shirt.
If you've got a random topic idea that, like, if you want it, that we would do for the end of the show type segment, send it on by.
Yes, if there's anything random that you want us to discuss, any baseball topic, we're open to pretty much anything. So definitely send us your suggestions, and we'll get to all of them as soon as possible. We promise. But thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you on the next one. 4 to 7 out, Knicks in 4, and if not 4, Knicks in 5, and if not 5, then definitely Knicks in 6. We'll see you next time. Peace, everybody.
See you.